So it's been a while since I've done a electric unicycle video, and I've had this unit for a little bit now, but the weather has just been super terrible, so I haven't had a chance to really go out and ride. It's been raining for a month and a half. But Inmotion sent me this wheel, and I wasn't really all that interested. It's a weird egg-looking wheel, but I've come to really like it in some ways for its own unique reasons. Now, this wheel is currently priced at $399, which is your entry-level electric unicycle. This is the cheapest electric unicycle you can buy on the market from a reputable brand, not those weird AliExpress other options that people haven't tested. Inmotion has been in the business for a long time. Now, obviously, this is meant to appeal to new riders. An electric unicycle at the start can be very, very daunting, especially learning how to balance on it and trying to go forward and back, and you're also trying to balance left and right. So this is meant to solve that. So let's talk about the E20, and I'm gonna go through everything that I wanna share with you about this wheel, the positives, the negatives, as well as its durability at the end. We're gonna throw this thing around because when you get a new wheel, especially when you don't know how to ride, this thing is gonna be bashed around. So we'll leave that to the very end because I don't wanna end up breaking it and not being able to film the footage that I need to for this review. So if you're relatively new to the electric unicycle community or this whole scene in general, about 8-9 years ago, Inmotion actually made a version of this wheel. It was called the Inmotion V3. Now, the specs and features are a little bit different, but it was also a dual wheel electric unicycle. We're gonna find out if this is an improvement over what they had 8-9 years ago. Now let's talk about the Inmotion E20. Now, a really cool thing is that this wheel actually comes with a lift sensor detection. So if you lift this up, not super fast, it doesn't seem to work 100% of the time, but let's try that again. Okay, it's engaged still, and it lifts slowly. Okay, it's disengaged. I put it down. There you go. So it doesn't work 100% of the time, but it seems to work generally for that lift sensor detection. Let's go over the specs of the Inmotion E20. Now, this wheel is 13.5 kilograms, which is definitely on the lighter side for electric unicycles. And it comes with a 900-watt motor on a 14-inch tire. Now, this wheel will let you do 20 kilometers an hour, which is actually decently fast for a wheel that has two wheels. It's not the easiest to control, given that you do have these two wheels. So it's actually plenty fast enough for a wheel like this. Now, this wheel fully charged is 54.6 volts with a battery of 240 watt hours. Inmotion estimates that you'll get 30 kilometers. I'm probably going to get half of that just as usual, probably close to 15 kilometers. Now, this wheel does also come with a waterproof rating of IPX6. Bluetooth, so there is a Bluetooth speaker and it's Bluetooth connected to the Inmotion app. So that's your Bluetooth speaker there. You can connect it to the app to adjust the different riding modes and different riding angles. So you can have it tilt forward or tilt back depending on your own riding preference. And you also have obviously these RGB lights. And the last thing to note is that this wheel will let you do a 15-degree slope. We're gonna put that to the test to see exactly how much of a slope we can climb with this. So let's compare the Inmotion E20 to its predecessor, the Inmotion V3. Now, first off is the price. For a wheel that is beginner-friendly, price is a huge deal. The V3 was originally, from my data that I could find online, $550 US. The E20, however, is 150 bucks cheaper at $399 US. However, the V3 comes with an integrated handle inside the wheel, whereas the E20, you'll have to purchase this separately, and it's installed on the outside. The V3 is 18 kilometers an hour max, whereas the E20 is 2 kilometers faster, making it 20 kilometers an hour. Now, when you turn on the Inmotion V3, they had this like touchscreen panel where you would slide the power button to turn it on. Now, from what OG riders have told me, they had a lot of issues with that touchscreen, especially in the rain. So I'm glad Inmotion has gone back to using something like this, just a traditional button that you know is going to work well. Now, something else is the weight. The weight of the E20 is exactly the same as the V3, which may not seem like a big deal, but when you compare the actual watt hours of the battery, you get 240 watt hours on this and 160 watt hours on the V3. Inmotion E20, first off is that it's super lightweight. For a wheel that is super lightweight, it means that you'll be able to take it out of your trunk, put it into your trunk, or carry it to wherever you need to go without breaking your back. The second thing is the integrated speakers. Now, this isn't going to be your high definition audio that you're going to get from the S16 or S19, but it is definitely good enough, especially at the $400 price tag. You'll be able to hear it at 20 kilometers an hour, no problem. The third thing is, look at me, you can ride backwards, and it's super easy to do so because of its two-wheel. It's easy to balance, it's easy to learn, and you can even come to a complete stop. No problems there. You never have to get off your wheel. It's like riding the Segway Mini Pro, but in a much more compact size. And the fourth and last reason, which is I think the most important, is that the purpose of this wheel. It's meant to attract new riders into the industry. And I think for the past few years, with all the expensive wheels being made, it's definitely scared off a lot of people financially. And being able to come out with a wheel that's $399, where people can try it out, feel for what an electric unicycle is all about, and not have that huge financial risk. I mean, think about how much money you'd be losing if you bought something like a Sherman S and you don't end up liking it, or you just find it too hard to learn and you have to sell it. You're definitely going to be losing out a whole lot more than just $400. I mean, just think about the shipping costs that you'll have to incur. So I think Inmotion for the E20 for attracting new riders definitely hits it right 100% on the mark. Props to Inmotion. With any positives of a product, you're going to find negatives. So let's talk about the negatives about the Inmotion E20. First off is the handle. The handle I think is the same one used on the Inmotion V10F. It's something that's built on the outside of the wheel, and you have to purchase it separately, and it's a bit flimsy. When you go through uneven terrain, it's going to make noises like this. I think I can tighten it and it might fix the issue a little bit, but something you have to worry about. The seat for this wheel goes on top of the handle. It's pretty ugly, and when the seat is mounted, you can't use the handle, so you got to take the seat off to be able to use the handle. It just doesn't really make any sense to me, but if you're maybe a child or you're, want to go through the park really slow seated, then yeah, that might be something you might end up looking to purchase again separately. The lift sensor, the only lift button, sensor button is on the front here, the power button, if you hit that twice. So let me demonstrate it. 1, 2, it disengages. And then 1, 2 again, it re-engages. Now that works fairly well, but they've also advertised this wheel to be, you just kind of like lift it and it doesn't spin out the motor. I haven't found that to work 100% of the time. It works about 80% of the time. So there's still some bugs on it. Another thing is that the wheel scratches pretty easily. They do okay on the white panels. They do definitely get dirty, just like any white. But these LED covers don't fare well when you crash. That looks pretty ugly, but the good news is that they're pretty easy to replace. Now, the last thing I don't like about the Inmotion E20 are these pedals. These pedals don't have any grip tape, and they are like using these rubberized finish, which is like from exactly 9 years ago. And basically when EUCs first started, they were these rubberized pedals, and then people moved to grip tape, and then now we have spiked pedals. I don't expect these wheels to have spiked pedals, but over rubberized grip tape is definitely better. And these pedals are also a bit small, so I wish they were a little bit bigger. Now then I went to look for a friend who had basically no experience in riding an electric unicycle, but was interested, and I wanted him to try out the E20 to see what the learning experience was actually like. Now, being Alex's first time on an electric unicycle, he was able to kind of get going really quickly on the E20, going forwards and backwards, but turning was still a little bit tricky with this dual wheel electric unicycle.
Turning seems a bit challenging,
Yeah.
But balance is not a challenge at all. Yeah, and also when you turn, the other tire just stops having contact with the ground.
Exactly.
It just loses all the momentum.
Yeah.
The balance just balances to the other side a bit faster than what you can expect. But yeah, just getting used to it, I think. Yeah, but hooping up and down is so easy.
Yeah.
It's so easy. I mean, I never did this before, and I'm doing it quite fairly easy. I can also brake easy, if I want I can brake. I can go forward, no problem. I think it's quite simple.
Obviously not a traditional electric unicycle. Turning on it is a little bit different to your traditional EUCs. You can kind of have both wheel planted on the ground and you turn slow and you can get your way around it. Now, because I know how to ride a traditional unicycle, what ends up happening or what I realize is I'll lift off one of the wheels. I'm actually gonna tilt the wheel off just to one wheel. See how I'm off one wheel? Now, before Alex actually jumped on the E20, I did previously send him a electric unicycle to ride, and he wasn't able to get the hang of it. He told me he tried about 10-15 minutes and he pretty much gave up on it. Today, however, when he tried the E20, after about 10-15 minutes he had outgrown it and was ready to tackle a new electric unicycle, something that didn't have two wheels. That's one of the issues with the E20 is that after you learn how to ride fairly well on the E20 electric unicycle, you may outgrow it and you might want to purchase or think about purchasing your next electric unicycle with only one wheel. However, if you find the right mindset for the E20, a family-friendly electric unicycle, I think it can still be a fun toy to have in your lineup. I'm going to throw this wheel around and actually see how it holds up, because when you're first riding an electric unicycle, this thing is going to be thrown around everywhere in every direction. So the best way I can mimic that is to show you guys how this wheel stands up. I'm going to first push it down these stairs and see how it fares, and then we're going to do some other tests to see if it survives those. So let's go. Ooh, I'm worried about that handle. Handle's definitely scratched, but overall, looks pretty good. The wheel still works. Hey, not bad. Okay, so an OG issue that we had with the old electric unicycles was the way that it protected itself. It wasn't very good. When the pedals went soft, it's meant to protect itself, but it would only do it a couple of times before you end up burning the board. So what we're going to do is we're gonna hold this railing, do a couple of these, and it should protect itself. The controller should not burn. So what this means when the pedals go soft is you're basically overpowering the wheel. And that prevents the MOSFETs on the controller not to burn. There we go, I've overpowered it, so it's trying to tell me to get off. But yeah, that definitely passes the controller durability test. That's pretty good, I'm impressed. Go. Ooh. Oh, shit. Okay. So you might not like the shape of like this whole egg looking thing, but it actually does a whole lot better than your square unicycles. It's able to take that amount of force and transfer it over. So again, like this is a lot more damage than any E20 owner would ever put their electric unicycle through. But let's have a look. We've lost the front cover. We've also lost the rubber for the power button. The LEDs still work on all the sides, right? The handle's obviously broken, but function of the wheels, the pedal still works. This pedal is a little bit crooked, but it still folds down. And let's have a look at the rim here. The rim on this guy. This one seems okay. Let's check the other side. Ooh, rim damage there. But still rideable. Again, this is a lot more damage than you would put an E20 through, or any unicycle owner would put their wheel through. So I'm thoroughly impressed with that. Obviously, it looks like crap right now, but we'll send this to Inmotion and have them patch it up for us. Thanks for watching this E20 review, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.